Etepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh with another video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the secret to communicating with your spirit guides. But before I get into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. Also, if you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below, and there's about 4 ebook links that you can click on each one, download them today, absolutely free, and start reading. However, if you want to go deeper down that rabbit hole, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, $20 per month. It's up to you, and you can cancel at any time. You'll get instructional videos on the esoteric, videos that will teach you how to meditate, proper breathing exercises, how to create a magic amulet, how to astro project, having lucid dreams, and how to self-hypnotize yourself to get rid of negative habits like smoking, overeating, and so forth. Last but not least, if you are an Osir level supporter, that's at $20, you'll get all your Oracle readings for free. We have a monthly live broadcast where I'll answer any of your questions or do a reading right there on Patreon. So become a Patreon supporter now. Finally, share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. So, Grand Rising, Namaste. We're here today to talk about communicating with the spirits. You know, it's interesting because I always find myself in weird situations. I went to San Diego and ended up in a really bad club. Not a bad club, but it was an okay club, but I should have been there. And today I went to a pool party, and I found out what type of pool party it was, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I should be here. And I was calling up. Jennifer had texted me. She's like, did you get in? I'm like, yeah, it's not the kind of party, you know, we should be in. So I took some photos and sent them to her. Anyway. But I always do that. I just get into these weird situations. I don't know how I do that. Maybe I should try and research before I do something. I like to go with the flow and not make any plans. Maybe that comes up. But they were very nice to me. They let me in. I got, for some reason, I was at the back of the line, and they pulled me out of the line into the front of the line to go in. And I was like, cool, special treatment, you know? That's because I'm very pretty, you know? But anyway, I really want to talk about an important subject that's really, really instrumental in your life. And the reason why I'm taking this dramatic theatrical pause, is because a lot of us get into situations in life to where we find ourselves alone with no one to turn to. And it becomes very, very difficult for us. See, my brother was a victim of verbal and physical abuse. And unfortunately, he had no one to turn to. I remember talking to someone who was trying to get off drugs. And he was asking me my advice. And I said, plain and simple, listen, it's really good that you're choosing this path of just like being drug free, but this is something you should not be dealing with alone. You need support. So I encouraged him to reach out to family, friends, and I gave him a number to a center that could help. And the thing about this is many of us go through life, and at one point or another, we find ourselves alone with no one to turn to. And for me, I remember as a young kid getting beaten, verbally abused, demeaned, degraded. And in that time, I remember distinctly, I was in my room, my bedroom was shared with my brother. And I looked at the light, and for some reason it caught my attention. And I kept staring at the light. And I was lying in bed, and then I saw a figure, a face appear. And I kid you not, I got up out of my bed, I walked toward this light, and this figure, it was only a head, started talking to me. Not in an audible voice, but I could hear it. It was almost like telepathy. And we started communicating. And I asked him questions, and he gave me answers. And then what followed from there was a relationship with this being. It only lasted maybe 6 months, but it was enough to give me faith and hope to continue on. Years later, after I became a priest, I revisited that, and I did the reading, and I told the oracle, or asked the oracle, excuse me, was that a spirit guide? And the oracle answered, yes. And I was elated because at the time I thought, I was a kid, I had a creative imagination. So I just thought it was something that I was just making up. That kids have pretend friends. But the oracle made it clear this was a spirit guide. This was a type of ancestor who was opening a channel of communication with you to let you know that you can have hope and there's something big awaiting for you. So when you are in those desperate times, you have spirit guides and ancestors who are in the etheric realm, inner planes, or whatever you want to call it, who are there waiting for you, and they have your back. But we have been taught by Western culture that these things don't exist, especially by Western religions. And I've already talked extensively on how Western religions were created by the Illuminati to keep you from exploring the realm of the right brain. See, the left brain is the waking state, the conscious state, and the right brain is the unconscious state. And it is the stargate or gateway to different realms. Our ancient ancestors even knew this, which is why most religions of people of color, Hindu, Voodoo, Santeria, Buddhism, rely heavily upon meditation, which is tapping into the right brain. But these modern religions that are being created by the Illuminati want to tell you not to meditate. Every scientific study done shows you that meditation can prevent heart attacks. Meditation can help with high blood pressure. It can eliminate stress and anxiety. So why would you, as a religious institution, piss on something that has a track record of thousands and thousands of years? Because there's something they don't want you to know. But I digress. At my former house, we would have paranormal events happen in the place, to the point of where my mate got really, really uncomfortable because it was going on so much. And I've talked about this in previous videos, how at one point I got a little frightened and I started not coming home during the night. So I would go out sit at a restaurant, all night restaurant, and eat, have coffee or whatever until the sun came back up. Then I knew it was safe to go back to my place because that's how I was unnerved by what was happening. But when I started really getting deeper into my priesthood studies, I realized this was just spirits opening the channel of communication. And because I had been trained so much by Western sensibilities that I mistook that as some type of poltergeist or entities that may have been benevolent. And that was simply not the case. Well, we left there, moved into a new place, and immediately we started having synchronicity events. Now, that's a separate issue that I'll dive into in another video. And that issue of the synchronicities doesn't relate to this. But not too long after, about 2 years after we had moved in, the paranormal events started happening again. And, I would tell people about it, they would laugh. And then they started to increase and increase. Because when the spirit feels you're ignoring it and it has a message for you, it's like, we're going to talk. So anyway, I knew exactly what was happening. I did my readings and I knew that, there were spirits here. They were trying to communicate with me. And I mean, things were being pushed over the table, falling on the floor. I would hear like things falling, but there was nothing that fell. Till finally the voices started hearing these voices. I mean, I'm literally sitting down and I'm walking through my house looking for, is there a radio on? Is there something I'm not aware of? But I'm hearing voices. And then finally I'm laying in bed and then I hear my name called. Now this is the first time. It happened a number of times. But only this time I did something different. I said, yes, I hear you. Please confirm you are my spirit guide or ancestor here to communicate with me by making some type of noise. So I'm lying in bed, and not 10 minutes later, I hear this tap on the wall. Weird tap right next to my ear. And I sat up, and then I knew what was going on. And after that point, my dreams were interrupted. I started getting these prophetic dreams. I started getting this new knowledge of things that I didn't know about, new information. And it was wonderful. And I realized I had bridged that gap. I was now communicating with my spirit guide. And every night the spirit guide would counsel me on different issues going on in my life that I was worried about through my dreams. And the really awesome thing that they started doing was giving me future predictions. So one night, like this is just an example, just an example. I'm having a dream about these crazy rabbits. I'm like, I never dream about rabbits. Why am I dreaming about a rabbit? And then come to find out that my pharmacist has a number of rabbits. So we start talking about that. And I start getting into some really good information with her. That's just an example. Another time, I had a dream about an event that was going to happen. And surely enough, when I woke up that day, that event happened. And I was like, wow, this is strange. And you'll never understand it unless you experience it yourself. And it's a wondrous experience. And I knew my dreams were interrupted because I started dreaming about things I would never, ever dream about. Sometimes I would remember the dreams, other times I wouldn't. But when the situation happened in real life, I would then refer back to my dream and remember, wait a minute, my dream predicted this. Wow. Now, I went to the Oracle and I said, like, what's the meaning of all this? What are they trying to tell me? So the Oracle came back and said, they just want you to know that you're not alone, that you have family there supporting you. And I was like, wow. Now, for me, the predictions of the future and what would happen was not the most amazing part. I'm a type of person who's into knowledge, but the knowledge that they were giving me, that really excited me. And I asked for more. I said, listen, this is what I want. I want this like knowledge. Please continue giving it to me. And then I did the reading. I got the second hexagram in the I Ching, which I knew that I had to be receptive in order to receive this information, meaning I had to be at peace. I had to still my emotions, because your emotions will taint the message. Your emotions will will break that bridge, will put up a wall that you can't communicate with your ancestors because you're so emotional. And this is what they do to society, especially to people of color, is that they create environment such as the projects, over policing. They create situations that make people of color over emotional, can't think clearly, get upset easily, get triggered easily. Your spirit guides can't work with you when you're in that situation. Not that they don't want to, but it's very difficult because your mind is clouded by emotion. It's the same thing as, if I'm falling in love with some woman and I do a reading, let's say with the tarot, to ask if we will get married, the tarot will not give me an accurate answer because my emotion is projecting onto the tarot and clouding things. So I have to go to someone else and ask them to do the reading for me. That's how it works. And this is how we lived in antiquity. We either would become the conduit to receive this information, or we would go to a diviner to get the information. But the most important thing was you were supposed to develop to a point to where you would have that one-on-one communication with your ancestor, with your spirit guide, and they were supposed to have your back. But the way that this corrupt religious institutions are set up is that the only person that's supposed to communicate with God or anybody is the pastor. Well, Hawkeye, that is why you practice Stoicism, or we practice what we call is Meneb and Ankh Ma'at, is that you're on an even keel. You're basically not overexciting yourself at things. When we finished production on my movie, everybody was like, yay, jumping up down, going crazy. And I'm just like, still drinking my protein drink and just going, yeah, it's cool, we finished. Because when you can be at that point of being stoic or meneb, then the ancestors and your spirit guides can work with you. You also have to not be afraid of the things that will happen. They may appear to you. They may not. They may disturb things in your home and you may get freaked out. You're not supposed to. Embrace it. That's when you start to talk to them. You understand? Yeah, we're at a full moon, so you should be doing your meditations tonight. That is the best time to do a full moon. And remember, when you do your full moon ritual or you do your meditation, you're supposed to focus on an objective, because it's the perfect time now to see the subconscious mind, the spirit, so that it will give you what you're asked for. So that's what you should be doing. In most cultures of the world, people, cultures of color, we always did like full moon rituals because we knew the power of that full moon. So, and this is the time when Oh, I got to speak on this. Thank you for reminding me, Max. Um, I definitely got to speak on this. I can't forget it. Please, I don't forget it. What my spirit guide was telling me, because I'd like to write in the mornings, like very early in the morning. Like I like to write like maybe 4:35 in the morning, right? So um, my spirit guides were telling me, if there's anything that you want to know in terms of secret knowledge, then we will speak to you during the witching hours. I'm just using the term witching hours. In essence, they were saying that as soon as I get up in the morning, if I get up early, not like 8 or 9, if I get up like 5 in the morning, they'll be waiting to communicate to me to give me information. And I was like, all right, let's see if this works. And I did it twice, and it was amazing. I was asking questions, and they were giving me like really like in-depth answers. So much so that I felt like, man, I could solve the world's problems. I was like, man, Jesus, I could be the guy that solves the problems. John Travolta did a movie, I forgot what it was called, where he was looking up at the sky and some meteor was coming and he got hit by a light, and it gave him this whole brain. He started using his whole brain, and he started solving problems in the town. And I felt like that character from his movie. Only problem with him is it created a tumor, and he died from it. But he was able to do like calculate like all this extreme calculations and math problems and solve problems, and even the government started coming to him saying, we need you, we need you. He says, listen, um, solving these calculations is great, but what I want to do with my life is just live in this small town and be happy. And that was so good. You know what I mean? Um, so they were telling me, my spirit guides were saying, look, if you wake up at 5 in the morning, we'll be here waiting for you to communicate, and you can make a list of questions and we will answer them. And I was like, this is cool. So that's what I started doing. So the key to this is, if you're looking to communicate with your ancestor or a spirit guide, the secret to doing it is meditating and going into the ultimate state of consciousness, and then asking the spirit guides to come and help you while you're in the meditative state. And then after that, you don't need a mantra. I can give you one. It would be the Qesankh mantra. Just so you know, if you want to do it, do the Qesankh mantra, because Qesankh is the great ancestor. So you would do that mantra and ask the spirit guides to come and make themselves first and foremost known to you. So they have to do something, and it's just like that. They're going to do something to let you know that they're here. They may knock over a glass. That's an extreme case. I mean, you may hear like weird, like I think I guys told you on a broadcast that I'm sitting working at my computer, and there are knocks on my door, knocks on my bedroom door. Now I said to myself, when I heard those knocks, I literally just sat there and said, I know my ferrets are out there, but there is no way my ferrets are knocking at the door, asking to come in. They'll scratch, but they won't knock. And I knew I was the only one, there that night. So that was really, it was kind of chilling. It was a little like, ooh, what is that? But that happened because I was not acknowledging the spirit guide at that point. This happened a while ago. And I started saying to myself, man, I think I'm ignoring them. I better start opening the communication. Because I thought, you've got, like, I have a very critical and doubting mind. So if a cup falls over, I'm just going to attribute that to happenstance. Well, things like that happen. If I hear my name, I'm going to attribute that to my imagination. And I'll keep doing that for a long period of time until I got to remind myself, hey, you are a priest. You are connected to extra interdimensional beings and stuff. Why are you ignoring these things? Because I am so critical of things. You know what I mean? Um, and I have to get reminded about that. Like I'll talk to other people like warlocks or witches and stuff, and they get one sign and they're ready to go. I need several signs. You know what I mean? And they're like, Qesankh, you had something fall over right in front of you and knock at the door, and you didn't think that was a paranormal thing? You didn't think that was a spirit? I was like, no, I was just thinking it was just accidental or something, you know? So, oh wow, yeah. So I just thought about what happened in the dream I had, so I got to prepare for that. I was like, I said, okay, that was weird. I had a dream about an earthquake, and I was like, okay, well, let's see if that happens. But I'm always worried about earthquakes anyway. Because in the East Coast, we never had earthquakes, and when I came here, I experienced the first earthquake, and I was like, oh, ooh, that's interesting, you know. So the spirit guides, they want to communicate with you. They're waiting, and you don't need to be alone. So embrace them. But the key again is to quell your emotions, quell your fear, so that you don't miss the blessing that they're going to bring you by having that relationship with them. Now, I want to take a pause here just to remind you to hit the like button on this video. Please donate to the channel. Also, we are starting up the 6-figure project manager or PM program again, starting on Thursday. So if you're interested in signing up, go to the URL below. And if you're not financially in a position to do so, you can come into the program with your tuition paid if you can prove financial hardship. And if you go to the bottom of the website, it'll show you how to fill out the form for the financial hardship and get your tuition paid. So I often let people in the program for free because I know that they are really looking to level up in their lives. And just a reminder, the 6-figure PM program is you're a digital project manager creating websites. And I train you to do that for 6 weeks. And after that, we help you with placing you at a job. But that's if you have proven yourself in the program, then I will connect you to major ad agencies that are looking for good PMs. So join the 6-figure PM program. Go take a look at it right now. All right. And so I want to leave you with that. I don't want to make it too long of a video, but I just want you to understand that you don't have to be alone in your times of struggle and strife. And we go through a lot, you know, a lot. And sometimes there's no one to turn to. Well, believe it or not, you have a spirit guide that's waiting to talk to you. And the information they're going to give you is going to rock your world. One of the things that you can get that I recommend is what we call the Angel Tarot. And this is good as an oracle and understanding who your guardian angel is, communicating with your guardian angel, and receiving direct information. All right. So let's do a quick reading before I close out. And I will talk to the angels. And I'm just going to ask a simple question. What advice do you have for those watching today based on the subject we have been talking about? All right. Let's see. All right. Should do the reading advice. Don't go to that party. Halaha. Refuge governs dreams and reveals mysteries hidden from mortals. Isn't that appropriate to what we were talking about? Let's get this. Here we go. Page of Swords. And what does it say? Governs dreams and reveals mysteries hidden from mortals. I mean, this is like so right on point for what we were talking about today in terms of the prophetic dreams, the knowledge. And so our angel is letting us know that they're there, ready to communicate. Oh, and just before I leave, I want you to understand there's many ways that your guardian angel will communicate. It could be through dreams. It could be through television commercials. It could be through the internet. It could be through a friend who comes and says certain things that you find very, very familiar, peculiar, and also through situations. It was funny because I went to an event here, and I took my ferrets, and we're sitting there, and two older men came over to me, and we started talking. So, I was like, where are you guys from? And one said, I'm from New York. And the other one said, I'm from Virginia. And I said, that's funny because I'm originally from New York, but born in Virginia. So those things will happen. Now, I'm going to do another video, which will be an important video, which will talk about time and space manipulation. You see, I want you to understand that as a magi, hold on one second, I want to answer this question. Are there ancestors from Egypt you've talked to? No. Directly from ancient Egypt? No, I have not. But good question. So what was my point I was trying to make? Oh gosh, gee, you made me miss my point now. I got distracted. Oh no. We'll have to rewind the video to find out what my point I was trying to make. But anyway, they can communicate with you in different ways. And I'm going to do this fantastic video on manipulating time, space, and what they don't want to see. Let me explain it. Now I'm back on track. What these other people online who are trying to teach through YouTube, they don't practice what they preach. They aren't certified priests or priestesses. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the information that they're giving you is not correct. And they have no empirical way of demonstrating that it works, because it doesn't work. The information that I'm giving to you, if you apply it, it works. And there's no doubt it works. So if I tell you to recite the sacred mantra during a full moon, and that you'll have an ancestor coming to you, you bet you darn will. And one of the reasons why it works so powerfully for people who work with me is because the ancestors know that you can count on me. So they make sure that they demonstrate that things in your life, they come through me to help you in your life. The other people who, many of them are charlatans, they can't get ancestors to communicate. They can't get spirit guides to help because they're not authentic. They're telling you things that are like, I was watching a video of the guy the other day, the guy's teaching people how to manifest. And I'm saying to myself, he knows literally nothing about manifesting, and he's teaching garbage. But because he's Indian, people believe him. And they think he must know what he's talking about. Most of those people who teach about the law of attraction and manifesting are teaching it wrong. Because the secret started this nonsense. The secret was garbage. It was just a way to make money by the producers. The rich and famous don't use that secret as they claim. And if that secret truly worked, then why can't people in Africa who are impoverished use it to improve their situation? They can't, because it doesn't work. You can't manifest simply by visualizing and being excited about the visualization, and then it will poof manifest. No, it doesn't work like that. If it did, we all would have what we wanted. And because it doesn't work, then they do follow-up videos on, here is a way to improve your manifestation. If things are not manifesting for you. No, you just don't know what you're teaching, because it should have worked the first time. I wrote a whole ebook on manifestation. But Dim Zealand wrote a series on manifestation, which is a good book. He's a quantum physicist. So there's certain rules to this that you have to obey, and certain ways for it to work. It's not just like this cookie cutter formula where you just visualize this and then all of a sudden it all pop up. Oprah put that nonsense out there and make people think that way. I literally have people coming to me excited saying, "Ooh, I'm going to get what I want now." I go, "Why?" "Oh, I bought that secret CD and book." I'm like, really? There is a very popular guru out there, and she's told someone close to her that she's afraid of people finding out that she's phony. And this is a very popular guru. So there are a lot of frauds out there, a lot of frauds. How do you know? Do your readings on them. Don't take my word for it. Do your readings on me, do your readings on the others, and then you'll see who you should be working with. If the reading, which is God, says not to work with me, then don't work with me. Obey the word of God. If it says to work with me, then work with me. And trust that everything will work out. But we have to stop falling for these charlatans, especially these Europeans who will get Indian or Hindu knowledge and just regurgitate it, and everybody think that they're so wise and prophetic. All they did was take from like different Eastern philosophies, so it's garbage. Let me comment on this before I go. Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's really good, but it's not necessary. It's not required. It's not gonna. I mean, it creates a good mood, and that will help you psychically. But it's not like a big requirement. If you don't do that, it'll still work. So, but yeah, you're right. That's one of the things that we did do was we did our full moon rituals under the full moon, outside in the wilderness, to create that state, that psychic state. And that's a very important thing. Like when you're doing a ritual, yeah, you have to do everything right, but it's important that you create that psychic state. That's what's going to help it manifest. And that's something that the law of attraction people do not understand, that psychic state that you must be in order to manifest. And the other point I want to bring up is you should, yes, do your full moon rituals on the full moon, but you should do it. You should do a day before the full moon, because the energy is building up. So do it a day before and do it on the full moon as well. So those 2 days are very, very important. So I want to thank you all for having good questions. This is Qesankh Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amen Ra.